Let's take a look at the latest snowfall that's occurred over the last 72 hours. And looking at the scale on the bottom screen here, those are in inches, anywhere from 8 to 12 inches, highlighted in pink across portions of Vermont and New Hampshire, as well as in the interior portions of Maine. We also had some heavier snows that broke out across portions of Idaho as well as into Wyoming. That is our snowstorm that's unfolding right now. That's actually going to be diving southeast. It's entering portions of the plains over the next 24 to 48 hours. It's really all complements of this setup going forward. We've got this pretty much dominating ridge of high pressure that's locked over a good part of Alaska. We also have another dome of high pressure that's locked over Greenland. That sets the stage for colder airs to drop southbound. And there's two pockets of colder air. One's going to be highlighted where that snowstorm is originating, and another one's that's coming out of eastern Canada. That's the piece of energy that's going to be diving southeast in the coming days. It's going to be impacting portions of the northeast. So going forward, looking at the overall snowstorm, this is where our hazards are into play right now. Those areas that are highlighted in purple here, that is your winter weather advisories. Could see anywhere from 4 to 6 inches of snow all the way as far south as Santa Fe into Albuquerque. And those areas that are highlighted in pink here, that is a winter storm warning. Could actually get anywhere from 6 to 12 inches of heavy snow. And some of those winter weather advisories extend to far south as the Texas Panhandle. Western Oklahoma will start to get some snow as those take effect midnight tonight. So looking at the overall surface map, what we're dealing with right now, this is our cold front. This is our cold front that's draped across portions of the Texas Panhandle into Oklahoma. That is actually stalled right now. It's waiting for the snowstorm, and this is where the snow is originating here. We've got a pretty significant low pressure that's building, that's producing all the snow that's west of Denver now, that's dropping the heavier snows across that region. And also some heavier snows are starting to break out in a good part of Nebraska as well as into western Kansas there. So if you are new to the channel and like detailed weather breakdowns, hit the subscribe button and you're in. You get all my daily content on this channel. So let's talk about this snowstorm. We've been actually talking about this for a while. Here's the overall impacts of what could unfold. We've got heavier snows that are breaking out in a good part of Wyoming as well as into Nebraska. Could see anywhere from 8 to 12 inches of snow. And then as you extend into the Saturday time frame, that moderate to heavy snow will start to go over to portions of Kansas. That could lead to 1 inch per hour snowfall rates and likely end up with over 6 inches of snow, especially into west and central Kansas. So yes, treacherous travel and minor to moderate impacts. And some of those impacts could drop as far south as the Texas Panhandle, even into western Oklahoma as that Arctic air continues to plunge southbound. We're talking temperatures today as well as into Saturday time frame, into the Rockies as well as into plains. We're likely not even get above freezing for the next 2 days with this snowstorm unfolding. So here is the overall setup as we go into tonight. So this is your overall latest guidance of where the snowfall could be by the time we head into 7 o'clock this evening. That heavier snows will start to drift all the way down into Santa Fe as well as into Albuquerque. That will actually start to shift over into the Fort Collins region, into Denver, back into Colorado Springs here. And that heavier snows will continue to unfold across portions of Nebraska here as well as into Kansas. And then heading into tomorrow morning, now that low will be diving southeast. Now we're talking places into the Texas Panhandle where those winter weather advisories start to unfold around midnight tonight. So by the time you wake up tomorrow morning, those areas across far extreme portions, say into Dalhart, up here into the far extreme portions of the Texas Panhandle, will likely start seeing some snow. And even in the western Oklahoma, places like into Woodward, places like into Alva, Oklahoma, we'll start seeing some heavier snows unfold. And that snow will start to extend into the Kansas region. That's how you're going to start to accumulate those 6, 8, possibly 12 inches of snowfall in western and central Kansas here, and some of these isolated spots. And the snow will start to continue to break out here in portions of Sioux City, as well as start to enter portions of the Des Moines region. And then as we head into that, tomorrow night time frame, that snow will continue to be on the move. So now we're talking it'll bring kind of a chillier rain across the deep south and portions of San Antonio and Austin, back into the Houston area, into the Dallas-Fort Worth region, back into Lubbock. This is all rain. The only way you could actually maybe start to transfer over to like of a slushy, sleet, freezing rain type mix is ending into near the Oklahoma City region, but it should be all snow into the western side of Kansas, and that will likely bleed into portions of the Kansas City region, heading into tomorrow night. And then as we go into that Sunday morning time frame, that low will be on the move. And now that stalled frontal boundary that we talked about, because the low pressure will be out of there on the backside, that's going to give that north flow that push that's needed to start dropping that colder air further south. So now those areas into West Texas and to North Texas will start to feel the north wind blowing and that cold front to come through, as the snow will be moving further northeast by then, impacting portions of Illinois, into Wisconsin, back into Indiana, as well as into a good part of Michigan here, as the northern side of the branch of the colder air coming out of eastern Canada will start to be diving southeast, will link up with this snow across that region. And then as we head into that Monday morning time frame, the snow will likely be over portions of Ontario, back into Quebec, and then further south into the U.S. here, impacting portions of Michigan, and that will bleed over into, kind of snow showers, light snow showers. It could get some wet snowflakes across portions of Ohio, as well as into western Pennsylvania. And then as it'll be just kind of an all rain, chilly rain across these interior portions of, the I-95 corridor. But there's your cold front going into Monday. So yeah, there's the Arctic front will continue to bleed southbound after it gets that renewed push on Sunday. Now those areas will, impact portions of Flagstaff. We're talking 25 degrees further south into New Mexico, all the way down into west and central Texas should seeing the effects of this colder air. But all those areas that are highlighted in blue, they're all basically below freezing, if not in the 20s, if not some of these areas in the teens. So you're definitely going to be starting to feel this front, and even going into Monday. So those areas across Minnesota, Iowa, into Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, Ohio, even Ohio, I think all day long that you don't actually get above freezing, as the colder air will continue to plunge. So yeah, those high temperatures all the way down in the South Texas of 53 degrees. Yeah, that's a cold front, folks. I mean, even in the 40s as far south as, central and southern portions of Mississippi and Alabama. So that colder air will continue to plunge southbound, and everybody will start to feel the effects of this cold front by the time we head into that Monday morning, but especially into that Monday afternoon time frame. Then heading into Tuesday, that's when, the bulk of the colder air will actually be highlighted over the Northeast. So you get glimpses of it between now and then, but you'll really start to feel the effects of the colder air by the time we head into that Tuesday morning time frame. But then as the cold air continues to remain in place for the lower 48, we'll be watching another pretty significant trough that's going to be building in off the West Coast. And that will be diving across and moving across the Rockies by the time we head into that Thursday time frame of next week. So we'll likely start to get more heavy snow start to break out in a good part of the Rockies, actually back down into New Mexico again. And then, yeah, we're going to be talking about more snow back into Kansas again. So this is kind of a similar area. And here's a low pressure center that's going to be highlighted over portions of west, just west of the Oklahoma City region. You'll have all rain on the front side, but as the colder air will continue to drain in on the backside from the northwest flow, that'll be transferring to all snow into the Friday time frame heading into that first day of December. So we'll likely have a renewed threat of heavy snows coming back through portions of Kansas, getting back into portions of Iowa by then, as we'll be tracking another low pressure center that'll be racing up a good part of Illinois and as well as Indiana by then. That will move out and we'll have another one. So with the cold air locked in place for a good part of 7 to 10 days, all these systems that will be coming across back into the Rockies again will be more snow. So yeah, we're talking December the 2nd time frame, but yeah, heavier snows will be entering back in the picture of Utah, back into Flagstaff again, back into New Mexico, and more heavy snow for the Rockies, even into Denver again. And that will likely be go back into Kansas. So you kind of hit with actually 3 separate systems over the next 7 days, 7 to 8 days across a good part of the Rockies there. So if you just kind of break this thing down for you over the next 7 to 8 days, here's your kind of snowfall over on your ensemble guidance. So we're going to have that snowstorm that's originating off the Intermountain West, dumping those heavier snows across the Four Corners regions in through portions of New Mexico. That bleeds over to the Texas Panhandle. That heavier snow breaks out in western Oklahoma. Kansas there could get a bullseye 6, 8, 12 inches of snow there, and then lighter amounts as you extend into Missouri, into Iowa, as well as into Michigan here, and that goes into Wisconsin, and then heading into Michigan here. And then once it gets into the Northeast, it will likely be mainly impacting a good part of New England, but especially there into Maine with that heavier snows, and obviously portions of Ontario as well as into Quebec here. But going into that December 4th, we've been kind of highlighting this, that second week of December will likely have the ridge finally move out of Alaska. So we'll have colder air locked over Alaska then, and that's just going to have to flip the overall pattern. So after we stay technically below average for about 7 to 10 days, the next 7 to 10 days on the colder side, we're going to have this colder dome locked back over to Alaska. That's going to put the ridge mainly back into the United States. So this is going to be dropping southbound, and this ridge is going to be entering and start to kind of take over the United States with a pretty significant warm up by then, by the second week of December. So by the time we head into that 5th and 6th time frame of December, we'll likely see the colder air coming back for Alaska. We'll likely see the well above average temperature anomalies and the much milder conditions to move into the lower 48 by that time frame. So guys, I appreciate you guys watching. Do like this video, definitely hit the subscribe button, and catch me next update where I protect you for and after the storm.